2019 was kind of a crappy year for games. Everything was broken, unplayable, or disappointing. Some were all three. I played like 30 games and only enjoyed about 5 of them. And that's why I didn't make a best of video that year. 2020, however, was the exact opposite. It was a great year for games, and a terrible year for everything else. Where do I even begin? Microsoft and Sony both released next-gen consoles, and nobody I know could afford either one of them. Nintendo released 3 games, fell asleep for 6 months, woke up and chose violence. Among Us took the world by storm after being dead for 2 years. Valorant rehashed CSGO and combined it with Overwatch. Blizzard finally added a hero that I actually enjoy. Atlas had the best year ever. Just look at all these games they released. Sony kicked ass with their exclusives, just like always, and Xbox made it clear that after the worst Xbox generation in history, they were going to get their shit together in the new generation. Fall Guys and Mario 35 took the Tetris 99 approach and proved that any genre can be adapted to Battle Royale and still be more fun than Fortnite. Last of Us Part 2 proved you don't have to play a game to call it trash, and Final Fantasy VII proved that better graphics and better gameplay don't automatically make a game better if you mess up one of the most beloved stories in all of video game history. As for me, I just couldn't keep up. I didn't play 13 Sentinels, Last of Us Part 2, or Cyberpunk, even though I really wanted to. But thanks to gifts and the treasure trove that is PS Now, I did play more games this year than ever before. And I played a lot of games, and I mean a lot. I played a lot of old games, a lot of new games, a lot of games I wanted to play for years but never could. I even played some shit I never heard of. But the real question is, what did I enjoy the most? I am a sucker for puzzle games, especially Tetris, and on the surface, Tricky Towers seems like it's just another Tetris clone. But it isn't. It takes everything great about Tetris and flips it on its head. Kind of. Not really. Instead of trying to keep the blocks from piling up, you are racing to see how quickly you can pile them, or how many you can stack without falling over, or how many you can fit into a limited space. Both the multiplayer and single player modes are a lot of fun and are tough as nails. Makes me feel kind of big brain when I play. You ever just have one of those days where you want to turn your brain off and vibe to some great music? Katamari Forever is perfect for that. It's a game about taking a tiny little ball and rolling it around to make it a bigger ball. If that sounds stupid and simple, that's because it is. It's dumb fun at its best, and I love me some dumb fun. Oh, also, the main character gets verbally abused by his father at the end of every level.
It's just like real life!
Look, I get that releasing 3 emulated games in a $60 collection is inherently exploitative, and we shouldn't be supporting this kind of thing, but it's Mario 64 Sunshine and Galaxy available on a portable console for an entirely new generation. I shouldn't have to explain what's great about that. These are 2 of the greatest games ever made. They were revolutionary titles that redefined the series, the company, and the genre. Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy are irreplaceable experiences, and if you have not played them, you have not lived. Also, Mario Sunshine is here. People hate this one. We've already established that I love puzzle games, but a puzzle platformer romantic comedy horror game created by the studio that made Persona 4 and 5? I have died and gone to heaven. Sure, it's nearly a decade old, but it still holds up. The game is tough but fair, frightening yet heartwarming. It's a ton of fun and I love it to pieces. Also, did you know it was a prototype for Persona 5? I had no idea, but that honestly explains so much about the quality of both of those games. Okay, I know I was brutal with this game a few minutes ago, and I am right to be. It's like 50 hours long, but it only covers the first 15 hours of the original game, and it fucks up the story. How exactly is this in any way a remake? That being said, the music, visuals, and combat are phenomenal. This is what Final Fantasy VII was meant to be. Plus, as a standalone story, the game isn't bad. It's the tale of a group of activists with shaky morals and strong ideals trying to take down an evil company in a dystopian hellscape. Your loyalty and morals are constantly being tested as the very people you are trying to save brand you as monsters and terrorists. The world you are trying to save hates you, and everything you do just makes things worse. It's really interesting, and a lot of the themes and ideas can be applied to real-world issues.
Good man who serves a great evil is not without sin. He must recognize and accept his complicity.
Even with moments that feel out of place and slow the pace to a crawl, a lot of the new content is pretty stellar. In the original game, Midgar was just a backdrop to the gameplay, but here, it feels real. The characters feel real, and that's why it hurts even more when your actions finally catch up to you. It will never be as good as the original, but as a standalone title, it is incredible, and it deserved every award it got, and a few it didn't get. Also, this version of the Honeybee Inn is way better. Cloud dancing is way funnier than strippers and gay jokes. Spider-Man Miles Morales has everything that made the original game great, and then some. It has the fluid and engaging combat, the gorgeous, incredibly entertaining web-slinging, the phenomenal storytelling and character writing, and the beautiful visuals. But the real highlight is the cast of characters, especially Ganke and Miles' badass mother. I honestly prefer these characters over the cast from the original, kind of like how I prefer Miles Morales over Peter Parker. What can I say? He just has the exaggerated swagger of a black teen. Do you believe a real human being actually said that in a professional review and then got paid for it? The exaggerated swagger of a black teen. Good lord. I wouldn't trust GameSpot to review their way out of a wet paper bag, but damn, the corny ass writing in all of their bottom of the barrel reviews is the funniest thing on the internet. Animal Crossing New Horizons is Animal Crossing. That's about all I need to say because that's all it needs to be. Sure, this game isn't as good as previous entries in the series, and sure, I haven't played since June, but it's still Animal Crossing and it's still damn good. It's cute and it's fun. You wake up, turn on the game, pick some fruit, water some flowers, talk to your villagers, sell some crap, buy some furniture, decorate your island, and then go, 10 a.m.? I still got time. So you go fishing for 5 minutes and oh my god, it's been 8 hours. Well, at least now you can catch the shooting stars. My only issue with this game is that there's just not enough content to hold my interest for more than a few months. Sure, they're adding stuff every month, but a lot of that really should have been there since day one. What this game really needs are minigames, preferably ones where you can win bells, nick mile tickets, and rare furniture. Also, I'd like a few games you can play with friends because, sure, online multiplayer is in the game, but there just isn't anything to do.
Dang, another older game? Half this list is just old shit that he didn't play until this year. God, this guy is bad at making lists.
Oh well, it's all quality stuff anyway. Especially Gravity Rush. I love this game. From the comic book art style to the characters to the central gimmick of shifting gravity to Cat and her cat. Put them in Smash, please. Everything about this game just makes me so happy. Why don't more people talk about this franchise? It's so good. Why are its fans just me and Scott the Woz? This game deserves so much more love, and I can't even put my feelings for this game into words, so let's just move on. In a decade where every first-person shooter feels exactly the same, games that take even a single step off the beaten path are hailed as masterclasses in originality and landmark achievements in game design, even when they are incredibly derivative of previous titles. In a normal FPS, the gameplay is hide, shoot some dudes you can barely see, walk to the next area. In Doom, it's more like, fuck this dude up with your shotgun, now do a platforming challenge, now swing for the monkey bars, now get a new gun, now use your chainsaw to get new ammo. Blood Punch is charged! Instead of hiding the background with a sniper like a little bitch, waiting for the demons to come to you, you are going to them. You're killing demons with your bare hands, you're swinging a sword around, you're throwing grenades into the mouths of giant balls. Doom Eternal constantly keeps you on your toes and is always throwing demons in your face. But that's exactly what you want, because if they're in your face, that means you're in theirs, and that's where you do your best work. This is exactly what I expect from an entry in the franchise that redefined first-person shooters 2 decades ago. Yeah, that's right. Both Final Fantasy VII's made the list. But here's the thing. If this is Apple Music, then this is Spotify. If this is Super Mario Kart, then this is Double Dash. If this is Marvel Zombies, this is Deceased. You get what I'm saying? These are both games of incredibly high quality, but this one is just so much better. Final Fantasy VII is the JRPG. The game revolutionized video game storytelling and saved an entire genre. Prior to Final Fantasy VII, JRPGs weren't popular outside of Japan. But all of that changed when Final Fantasy VII blew up. Think about how many games would have faded into obscurity or never been made at all without this game. That alone should tell you how important this game was. This is a masterpiece in storytelling. Everything about Final Fantasy VII was groundbreaking when it first came out, and playing this game now is a different kind of happiness. I would sell my kidney to own a physical copy of this game. Of course, it's only like 20 bucks, so I guess that's not really necessary. I'm not really a big fan of 2D platformers. They're just not my thing. You can revoke my gamer card all you want, but I've played a couple dozen and only really liked these ones. I just prefer the freedom of 3D platforming. But what I like even less are Metroidvanias. They're just overwhelming and make me feel stupid. But I guess that's on me and is entirely my own fault. The only exception is Super Metroid, and I only played a few hours of that. But when I saw Ori and the Blind Forest, I was like, oh, that's pretty. I'll keep an eye on you. And then I saw the trailer for Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I was like, damn, that's gorgeous. If this game is half as fun to play as it is to look at, it could be Game of the Year material. When I finally got the game, I was blown away. It was everything I hoped for and more, the first 2D platformer to hold my attention from start to finish. Everything from the visuals to the combat had me on the edge of my seat. Ori is the type of game that can tell a story with its visuals alone, but it adds even more story on top of what's just on the surface, and that story hits like a truck. Especially the ending. That beautiful, bittersweet ending brought tears to my eyes. No other game I played this year was able to pull that off, not even Final Fantasy VII or Persona 4 Golden. Hey, remember in 2018 when I said that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was my game of the year? Yeah, that aged like milk. I hate this game now. Let's hope this year's game ages better. Persona 5 is my favorite game ever. Nothing else even comes close, so wouldn't it make sense to assume that an enhanced re-release of my favorite game would be my game of the year? Yeah, no. Originally, I wasn't planning to add this to the list at all because I thought it didn't do enough to differentiate itself from the original version. But last week I went back and finished the game and holy shit, I was dead wrong. Sure, this game has everything that made the original great. Amazing deep combat that really gets you thinking, characters that are easy to love despite them not being real, a story that absolutely wipes the floor with nearly every game that came before it, and stunning visuals that continue to give me chills even after playing the game 4 times. And of course, the best part of the game, the music. Just listen to this. You never see and every song in these games is a bop, but Persona 5R's quality doesn't just come from Persona 5. There's a ton of new content, new dialogue, remixed palaces, the grappling hook, new confidants, new events, more catchy content, new locations, new music, hell, they even remixed Mementos. How the fuck are you gonna remix Mementos? For me, the highlight is of course Maruki and Kasumi. They're both new, and the difference between them and the old confidants is night and day. This is some Persona 4 level character writing, and everyone knows that despite all its flaws, Persona 4 has the best character writing in any Atlas game. And all this says nothing of the new palace, new ending, and new semester, all of which completely blew me away. I genuinely believe the new stuff is a couple thousand times better than the original game, and that's not something that can often be said about re-releases. Everything about this game just screams quality, and Persona 5R is, in my opinion, the definitive way to play my favorite game. Oh, also, I should probably say something about Joker and how badass his movements and voice clips are. He really is full of the exaggerated swagger of an Asian teen!
I am the funniest person I know!
Shall drop from the cheeks and more. You